This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, we are live in Los Angeles on iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Urban Meyer in 45 minutes. Greg Cosell next hour. Chris Haynes on his interview with Kevin Durant stopping by today. We're absolutely packed. Joy is on assignment. Veteran newsman John Goulet will be updating us on an NFL trade that's taking place today with the Browns and the Texans. It is so great to have you in. Let me start with this. I am really enjoying, I never knew that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones were pro wrestlers, but they are tag team partners. One day it's Jerry banging on Zeke. The next day it's Stephen Jones banging on Zeke. Then it's Jerry banging on Zeke. And then it's Stephen Jones banging on Zeke. These guys are tag team partners. WWE, which, by the way, is coming to Fox very soon. Let me go to the first thing. Jerry came out. Remember that? And Jerry said, you can win Super Bowls without star running backs. And then Stephen came out and said, a couple days later, you know, any money we give Zeke is just taken away from other Cowboy stars. And then Jerry came out yesterday and said, Alfred Morris, the running back they signed, has the best feel of any running back I've ever seen. And then Stephen came out later in the day with Rich Eisen and said, he won't call us back. Here's Stephen Jones.
How often are you talking with Zeke's team these days?
Very rarely. There's this perception out there about negotiations that, you know, there's these ongoing talks and they go on hours at a time. And, you know, that's just not the case. You kind of set the boundaries of where you think it should be. And certainly, you know, they're all represented by very sharp people and they're trying to do the best for their client. And you kind of sit there and you stew on it and you think about it. You know, you're always trying to think of something that might bridge a gap.
Okay. So remember, this is the latest thing. It's a tag team partner. Jerry, you can win Super Bowls without great running backs. Stephen, you're just taking money out of Dak and Amari's hands. Jerry yesterday, Alfred Morris has the best feel of any running back I've ever seen. And then Stephen Jones comes out later and says, nobody's returning our calls. We're not close. Okay, so this is tag team and Zeke. Are they getting nervous? Are they getting anxious? Now, I've felt from the very beginning, Jerry and Stephen have been very shrewd with their public comments. But there is a reason they are going out in public. They are trying to put pressure on Zeke. And I think Zeke has two things going for him here. And they're not the things that people think. Well, he's a great player. They need it. No, he's got two things going for him. Number one, Jerry Jones is 76 years old. He doesn't want to waste another season. When you get older in life, you just don't have time to waste. When you're on the back nine of your mortality, you're not going to waste time. You want to get things done. I can tell you, the older I get, the less time I'm willing to waste because I have less time on the earth. That's an advantage for Zeke. An older owner hasn't won a Super Bowl in a while, finally has a roster, he doesn't want to waste a season. And the second thing that I think helps Zeke is in the division, Philadelphia is great, well-coached, Carson Wentz, and they have all their young stars signed. But even out of the division, the NFC is loaded. I'll give you 9 teams, not in Dallas's division, that I think are capable of making the playoffs. The Falcons, the Saints, and the Panthers, the Packers, the Bears, and the Vikings, the Rams, the Niners, and the Seahawks. That's just out of the Dallas Cowboys NFC East division. So I think those are big advantages. The NFC's loaded. The division, Philadelphia, may be a Super Bowl favorite. Jerry is 76 years old. There is a reason that Jerry and Steven on a daily basis are coming out and doing a tag team on Zeke. They're feeling it. This is not a time to not have all the ammo for the NFC East, the NFC, with an aging owner. So I think it's a blast to watch. I think it's really fun. By the way, Zeke has shut it down. Zeke's in Mexico. Zeke's not talking. Zeke's not calling. Does Zeke understand he has leverage here? Because this morning, when I see Stephen Jones talking and Jerry talking about how great Alfred Morris is, Cowboy leadership getting a little tight, getting a little closer to games, and getting a little anxious. Kind of feels like it this morning. Kind of feels like it. All right, let me shift to this. Aaron Rodgers time. I think Aaron Rodgers is great. But when the comparisons were made years ago to Tom Brady, I said, oh, he's got a better arm, but I think there are certain leadership skills that Tom has that Aaron does not have. I think Aaron's talented. He's more mobile. Maybe he's a better athlete. He's got a better arm. I'm not disputing that. Of course, Aaron is thin-skinned and thinks I don't like him. I think Aaron's great. He's one of the 10 best, 15 best quarterbacks in the history of the game I've ever seen, and I've seen all of them that matter. I'm not joking. Outside of Otto Graham, Johnny Unitas, I think I've seen most of the great quarterbacks. But it's interesting. Finally, another member of the media, sports media, NFL media, is recognizing what I'm recognizing. So Pro Football Talk came out yesterday and admitted Aaron Rodgers' criticism of joint practices, which he did yesterday, amounts to criticism of his new coach, Matt LaFleur. Pro Football Talk also acknowledged in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, Aaron Rodgers has criticized his new coach twice. One, on the audible thing. He didn't love the restrictive nature of Matt LaFleur's audibles. And two, by coming out and saying, and this is what Aaron said in the last 48 hours, in regards to the Packers' joint practices with other teams, quote, I don't think live special team drills are smart. The kickoff especially is dangerous. I just don't think it's the best use of joint practice. So what he is saying, this is essentially the equivalent to an eye roll to your coach. This is the equivalent of calling your coach stupid. If Tom Brady came out and said, you know, I think these joint practices, I think these special teams drills are not very smart. Would he say that about Bill? Would he question Bill's audible system? This is the eye roll. 2 eye rolls before the season starts. By the way, isn't Jeff Saturday, former Packer, the one that came out and said Aaron would roll his eyes at Mike McCarthy's play calls? Didn't Aaron Rodgers lead the NFL last year in throwaways by a mile, basically acknowledging before the play started, I hate it, I'm throwing the ball out of bounds? This is the gap that I've discussed for years, Brady and Aaron. Aaron is condescending. Aaron goes public with it. Aaron takes shots at superiors. I don't control practice. It's not very smart. That's the gap. That is the gap. It's not talent. Aaron's got arguably more of it. But, I mean, ask yourself, if you were a high school coach, you're a high school football coach, and your high school quarterback came out and said, yeah, I don't think these joint practices are very smart. The high school coach would go down and talk to his high school quarterback. If Tua came out in college, if they had college joint practices, and Tua, the quarterback at Alabama, said, yeah, I don't think these joint practices are very smart, Nick Saban would bring him into his office. The difference here is Matt LaFleur, the new Packer coach, has to eat it because Aaron Rodgers is he's an icon, and he's rich, and he's got a Super Bowl ring, and he replaced Favre, and he's idolized, and he's worshipped, and he, mostly he's one of the great talents of our time playing quarterback. But make no mistake, these comments, thank you, Pro Football Talk, these comments were essentially the equivalent, the audible comment publicly and the special teams comment publicly, they're an eye roll, which is all I've been saying for years. Aaron's talented, but he's condescending. They did a study years ago at the University of Washington about why couples get divorced. It's not cheating. It's not money. They could predict with 99% accuracy why couples would get divorced. They would interview couples. They'd sit them down for a couple of hours. They'd ask the couples together all sorts of questions. And they could predict with 99% accuracy if they would get divorced. And do you know what the factor was that the social scientists or the psychologists could spot? Eye rolling, condescending, not respecting your partner. That just led to a Packer divorce. And already in a relationship, we're not even to the preseason games yet. These are calm waters. Already, Aaron is doing what teammates have claimed he did with Mike McCarthy. Sometimes you got to eat it. You don't want to go public. You could tell your coach in private. But Aaron makes a point of going out, making it public, which essentially is kind of embarrassing your head coach. I don't want this system. This is stupid. Why are we doing this? Those are private conversations. So again, Aaron just got a divorce from a football coach. Throwaways led the league. Eye rolling in the huddle. This is what causes divorces in real life. And it's just nice occasionally that I don't have to carry the water for the criticism of Aaron Rodgers in America, that he's not perfect? I mean, we're always willing to say Tom Brady's not very athletic. Tom doesn't get mad. He makes fun of that. On Twitter, he makes fun of that. Does everybody have to say Aaron Rodgers is perfect, or can we acknowledge now more eye rolling? Because that's all these quotes are. They're the equivalent of eye rolling, which has been my primary criticism of Aaron for a decade. We've got a trade coming in the NFL. It just got finalized. I think it's very good for both teams. And Kevin Durant sat down with Chris Haynes and said a lot. We'll break down that, all of it, coming up here on a Thursday. Middle of the night, hot, tossing, turning, AC's not working. Not a problem for me because I have a Casper mattress. Over 5 years, I've been sleeping on Casper. 6 beds in my home. There's a lot of reasons to like it. One of it is free shipping and free returns. They let you sleep in it for 100 nights. If you don't like it, they'll come get it. Second thing is, it comes in a box so small, it's hard to believe it's a mattress. You can just push it down the hallway, open the box up, boing, thing pops out. Third reason to like it, soft under the shoulders, firmer under the hips, very healthy alignment. Got back issues? No more. They've got bedding, duvets, bed frames, and dog beds. I know I got one. Everything you need to create a perfect sleep environment. Go to Casper.com. The code, as always, is HERD, H-E-R-D. Get you $100 toward the purchase of select mattresses. That's Casper.com. Free shipping, free returns, code HERD. Sleep cool, sleep comfortable, better alignment. Casper.